are live on Twitch right now. So now I can really say, welcome everybody to another edition of the Bluegrass Poker Podcast. I'm your host, Blythe Dahlem, aka BGP2000, aka Bluegrass Poker. I'm joined today by the one and only Chris Moneymaker, newly crowned ACR Pro, main event champion 2003, and just all-around legend of the game. Huge inspiration to me and so many other people who have started playing poker, and it's just a pleasure to be talking with you today. Welcome to the show.
That intro was 10 times better than the first one. You did great.
Yeah, maybe
we've done it 3 times, guys. So
yeah, I had a small issue with leaving delay on from one of my last streams. So, oh well, you live and you learn, right?
You got it.
Anyways, I want to start off talking about your new sponsorship with ACR, and America's Card Room seems to be making a lot of great moves lately, signing you, Ape Styles, as well as Vanessa Cade, all that stuff. So I wanted to talk a little bit. Wanted you to mention just like what that sponsorship has meant to you and how that has come about lately.
Yeah, so obviously with COVID occurring last year, we stopped traveling, and I wasn't able to play online. I really wasn't able to do anything, which was kind of terrible. I mean, if you can't travel to play poker because no poker rooms are open, and you can't stream because you can't play Poker Stars from where I live. It made it to where I was just sitting around doing a whole lot of nothing, to be honest. And I started grinding on America's Online, or good Lord, I'm old. America's Card Room, and just start playing there just about almost every day, it seemed like. And the more I played on there, the more I liked it. I really, it felt like Poker Stars back in 2004, 2005, back when, they were starting up, and it was really about the player and really constantly trying to improve the site to make it better for the player. And ended up getting 4th in the Venom. And during that time, they found out who I was. Like, they didn't know who I was playing under, just a random name, and no one ever reached out or said anything to me. And I was obviously just playing quietly, whatever. I met Phil over the phone, and we started talking, and we just had a pretty much instant connection. We both agreed on a lot of things about poker and life. We both sort of think the same way. He's not quite as good looking as me, but I mean, at the same time, we both share a lot of the same features. And so anyways, we started talking. It was like, you know what? I can stream from home playing America's Card Room. I can stay at home more. I can be with my family more and do all this stuff that I'm doing with Poker Stars, but actually do it more effectively because I can actually do my job now with America's Card Room. And it just so happened my contract was coming up to a renewal with Poker Stars in December. And, after talking with Phil, we came to an agreement, and I went to Poker Stars and just told him, thanks for everything. It's been an amazing run. It's a great company. Can't say a bad thing about it. It's just, for me, it just didn't line up with everything I had going on. So I said, I'm going to be going over to ACR and working with them. And, they're like, well, we're going to talk about it. I'm like, I mean, you're not really using me. And, the guy that was over me is a really super nice guy. We've been friends for a while, and he was very supportive. He's really understanding. He's like, is there anything we can do to talk to you? And, basically I told him, what I was looking at over there. And, he's like, yeah, just, go have fun with it. Wish you well. And so, yeah, just at the end of December, I had to take 30 days off to, non-compete, whatever. And starting in February, I signed on with ACR, and now I'm getting to stream. I've done 5 or 6 streams now, playing under my own name, and we're doing a brand new promotion that starts up actually in 2 days.
Yeah.
So excited about that. And, we got a lot of big things planned. Obviously, they've made a lot of moves, signing Ape Styles, Vanessa. Some of the other guys I don't want to mention, like Party. He's a good guy, but I give him a lot of shit. We've got a really good group of team pros, and we're really building it out. And I'm just happy to be part of the team and watching it grow.
Yeah, and you mentioned that new promotion. I've saw it as it's been promoted. It's really exciting. For those of you who don't know, I'll let Chris go more in depth, but I'll give it a little introduction. It's called the Next Moneymaker promotion. So running through the next, I believe, like month or so, over the next month and a half, you have the opportunity to play 1-cent satellite tournaments on America's Card Room, running 4 times a day, I believe, at different times, and that 1 cent can get you eventually to $105,000 plus a sponsorship deal with America's Card Room. You want to talk a little bit more about that? It's a really exciting promotion.
Yeah, so one of the things that I really liked doing with Poker Stars was when I was there, we had the Moneymaker tour, and I liked the fact of being able to change someone's life potentially, and you're giving away $25,000 seats to go play in the PSPC, and it was a really fun adventure. So we started talking about what can we do at America's Card Room that's similar but different. Obviously, we're not going out and playing live, so we're going to host it online. What makes sense to change someone's life? And we wanted to look at something that everybody could do, so we made the buy-in a penny. We wanted to make it something that if you have skill, you can qualify for the tournament to get yourself a 1 in 360 shot or whatever that, there's going to be 360 people at the end. And it's going to be a long tournament, drawn out tournament. So we're really giving you a chance to get into that final 360. You get into the final 360 by being one of the top 30 qualifiers for each individual week. So we're taking 30 people each week, and you can play up to 3 tournaments a day, and we're going to take your 5 best scores on average from everybody for the week, and the top 30 of those people will advance. So, say, we're going to run, right now we're running 3 tournaments a day, and I've got them designed so, whether you're in Europe, America, wherever you are in the world, there's going to be a time slot that you can play. But I also wanted to make them to where they're fast. So they're going to be turbo-y, which some people may or may not like. But the point is you can play them and you can go to work the next day. You can go to school the next day. You can do what you need to do the next day, and it doesn't take all day to play these.
Right.
And if you don't do well, you have 2 other chances that day, or you have 20 other chances throughout the week to win, to improve your score. So you're going to have 21 chances throughout the week to get your 5 best scores. So, in the first part of the week, you don't do very well. Well, maybe you take the rest of the week off and you come back the next week and try fresh. I know, everybody can make their own decision about that, but it's really designed for grinders that are going to put in the time and try to make it to get, you don't have to grind 15 tables. You just have to play 1 tournament at a time. But, it's a penny. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be thousands of people. And it's really about placing and getting yourself in position to get to that final 360. Mm-hmm. Now, a couple different things that's going to happen with this tournament that you won't see with others is it's a freeze out. So there's no re-entries. We're not going to be letting people just fire pennies off in there, moving all in every time. We have an hour late reg, which if anybody that's played on America's Card Room knows that late registration can last anywhere from an hour to like 20 hours, depending on the tournament you're playing. So we want to make sure that you can only register for an hour, and then we're going to open up registration an hour before. So, everybody has an opportunity to get in and pick the tournament they want to play. And we, during the week, we're not going to change any of the parameters of the qualifying tournaments, but we're going to be really open to players' feedback and how they're feeling, how they're what's going on with them, and if they don't like something, we can change it the next week. I mean, it's always going to be up for change over the 12-week period. By the end of the 12 weeks, we may have 1 tournament every day that's not a turbo anymore. Who knows? But it's going to be a fluid situation. We're going to move with what the majority of people want, and that's what's so cool about this promotion is we're kind of making it up as we go, sort of. But just trying to get it to where we're trying to find the one guy that loves poker and thinks that he can make it, but doesn't have the bankroll to do it.
Yeah.
And so if you think you're that person, this is the perfect tournament for me. I mean, I hear it all the time. I can play. I'm just as good as you, Chris. I just don't have the bankroll to go spew off or play or whatever. Well, obviously we're going to give you cash. We're going to give you live tournament buy-ins, online tournament buy-ins, and a ton of support and a ton of coaching if that's what you want. It's just going to be a great opportunity for an individual that wants to be a professional poker player to see, take a year, see what it's like, and see if this is what you really want.
For sure. Yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, I've been planning on grinding this little series for the next little while, because I feel like I'm kind of in that role. But I never really complain about I never really think that I'm one of those people that's like, I'm just as good as those guys. Like, I just don't have the bankroll. Like, no, I have a small bankroll for a reason. It's because I'm not just crushing those smaller games. It's because I've have lost like 15 buy-ins at 25 NL over the last couple months. It's because I need to do that. But this is like a huge opportunity to reach that spot. I even I have the tournament lobby pulled up here. They have like the first one for the next Moneymaker, I think, on Monday the 12th at like 3 p.m. It looks like it has almost 2,000 people enrolled.
Yeah. Now what we were talking about this in chat. They sort of mistakenly let the first one be registering. They're going to kill that one and redo it an hour before, and that's where people can register for that one. Just how they had it, how the software kind of sets up the first tournament you put in the lobby has to be registering. It's just I don't know, call it a glitch, call it whatever you want, but they're going to kick that one out and then open it up an hour earlier so people can re-register and
Okay.
So all the people that got the leg up here or whatever, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, we expect. Let's see how many people are capping this thing at. I don't even know. Let me see. So we are capping it at.
I'm trying to load the lobby as well.
Yeah.
People can see it.
I thought usually we had it. Let's see. And again, I might change the next week. Like originally, we were talking about capping at 3,000 entrants.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, but it looks like we're going to have for this week, the first week, we're having them at 6 a.m., 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. So it doesn't really matter where you are. You're going to have a chance to play. I mean, that's a 12-hour span or 13-hour span of tournaments that you'll have an opportunity to play, something. So hopefully one of those fits in your schedule. And if it comes out that, maybe we need one at 11 o'clock at night or something like that for the next week, we can definitely look at that and open that up. That's we're going to have a forum for people to go in and, basically voice concerns or complaints or requests, whatever terminology you want to use to essentially ask that we change the structure or change the times. Now, obviously, we're not going to change for every single person that wants to change, but as if we get a ton of requests for certain things, obviously we'll be making some changes.
Yeah.
But that's what we got for the first week. And look, just a note, sorry to see this. Sunday we actually have a different times. It's 4 a.m., 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m., just so you're aware.
Okay.
But anyways, so it's just trying to get everybody a chance to live out this dream. And, while, you may be a realist and understand that you're down 15 big blinds at 25 NL, there's a lot of people that either one, they're not realist, or two, they have so many other things going on in their life. Maybe they have kids, maybe have students, so many bills that they have. It doesn't matter how successful they are in poker. They can't just don't have enough bankroll to build up, because every time they build, it's going to pay bills. I mean, I've got a couple friends that literally they grind poker for their job, but they can never move up because everything they make goes to pay their bills, and they're just trying to survive. And I can guarantee you, the three of them that I know are all going to be grinding this really hard. The one, this is the one downfall to the next Moneymaker thing, though, is we're giving one of these packages away. you have a really good chance to make it to the final 360. If you grind, you can, we set it up to where you can, hey, what's up, dude?
That's my roommate.
He has no care for your Twitch stream, does he?
He tries sometimes. I mean, at least his girlfriend doesn't come over here when I'm streaming. Like, that would be
I would have rather have seen her. That would have been better. But anyways, so, we set it up to where hopefully good players make it to the final 360. Once you're in the final 360, we battled back and forth. Do we want to make this another, grind it down to 30 people? Another week of qualifying terms, you grind it down to only 130. But at the end of the day, I won my seat back in 2003 in a tournament. I had to beat out a lot of people. I had to beat out 800 people. So at some point, you got to add the element of luck to poker, because in the short term, obviously, there is that involved. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to get it down to the 360 most qualified whatever, and then let them battle it out from there. But we're going to give that tournament a very long structure and a very deep feel. So it would be like you're playing a Venom or a main event or something along those lines. So it's not going to be something where we're going to turn it into a luck fest. You're going to really have time to show your skill in that tournament. And hopefully it's a good balance between the weekly turbos and then the marathon that's going to be the final tournament.
Yeah.
Between that, whoever gets second place is going to be disappointed. But I would say, honestly, if you make the final table of this, I think you have a really good opportunity to go to backing stables, come to me, come to other players that, might back some players, and look for opportunities, because you're going to have to be a really good player to make it down to the final 9 of this. So, I mean, even though you don't win, I think it does open up opportunities for you. And, you never know when a Venom seat might pop up or something for somebody that gets second or third. I mean, it's been known to happen, so we'll see. But, it's going to be a big bubble, though, going from second that technically has 0 to first that's going to get the $105,000 package. But that's what poker is sometimes. It's pain at times.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I've been there. I mean, last Sunday I played MTTs all day long, and, I played for about 12 hours and cashed for $10. And it's just like, that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah.
Yep. It could be it takes a special individual to be a poker player. And that's, kind of what this thing's all about too, though, is, I mean, taking that bad beat and keep on going and wake up and play the next day. And, playing these penny tournaments, I'm going to be honest, they're going to be a grind. I mean, I know, if I was playing these every day, it would be tough. Mm-hmm. And but that's the way they're designed. We don't want ape styles coming in and trying to win, or, someone like him to come in and play. We don't want pros coming in and playing these and winning the seat.
Right.
And you're not going to see pros like Ape Styles coming in and grinding out. They might play 1 or 2 for, to
do it on stream to showcase. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Something. But even if they were to win it, we've got the point system such that just winning the tournament isn't going to guarantee you yourself in the top 30. It's going to be a very flat payout structure. So almost to the point where first gets 100 points and 100th gets 1 point. It's just a 1 point ladder all the way up. So you don't have those big jumps. Because one of the things we really talked about is, we don't want someone to come in and win one and then they made it the top 30. You look boxed your way, you won. No, you actually have to grind these and you have to put up a couple results. You need, a couple top 50s to, get through and make it to the top 30. I would say, you're going to probably need 150 points each week to get through, is what I'm sort of guessing, which would mean you would have to, either win one tournament and get second in the tournament, or you get, 5 good scores,
right,
out of 21. So, and I think it's a really good balance.
Yeah, it sounds great. I'm really looking forward to it. And kind of shifting gears now, you mentioned Ape Styles a little bit. You're not going to see the pros in there, but the other day you did have Ape Styles on your stream. having a little study session. I tuned in for a little bit. I was busy doing homework for most of it, but I got to catch a little bit. How was that study session? I'm kind of curious what all you learned about your game and your leagues.
This is the third session I've done of that. I had Faraz Jaka, I had the guys from Elite Poker Coaching, and then I had Ape Styles do it each Thursday. I'm trying to do these things each Thursday, bringing different coaches in and picking apart different parts of my game. I knew what working with some other people, I kind of knew what my looks were going in. I knew that I have a problem with small pocket pairs. I knew I have a problem, getting too tied into suited connectors and wanting to play them too often. And, my technical side of poker is not the best. I play a lot of street poker, live poker, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I've been doing for 20 years. And Helmuth doesn't really ever work on the fundamentals. I work on that more than he does, but I'm still lacking in that department. And going through my database and seeing the amount of big blinds I've lost playing suited connectors I hadn't learned that way. I mean, I'd seen it like when you do hand history reviews, I lose this hand or I lose a big pot, or I just get, 3 chips here or 3 big blinds here, 4 big blinds there. It starts adding up over time. But when you actually go into the database and actually see in your database that these are just losing hands, it's kind of an eye opener for you. I never have done a database search like that before, like a deep dive into a database, because I've never used a HUD. I've been playing the game for 16 years and I never used a HUD. I didn't really feel like, I don't want to say they aren't fair, but I felt like, I just played 1 or 2 tables and I felt like I was good enough not to use them, even though I know they're beneficial. I just never got into it. And I'm still not. The only reason I have one is to record it for review and for coaching sessions. And that's also good to mark hands. I've come to find out, like when you have a tough hand that, you're not quite sure, you wake up with jacks and a 3-bet pot with 50 bigs, it's 3-bet to you already. Like, what are you doing with jacks here? It's been raised and re-raised in front of you and you get 50 bigs. It's not exactly the most ideal situation. You just fold, or do you go with it? It's a weird spot. So any spots like those that I would have questions about, or I'd go ask a coach or ask different people's opinions. That's what I try to do. And, that's the one thing about poker, unlike I don't say any other sport, but, it's a very individual sport, but you need to constantly be improving and you need to constantly be working on your game. And, even though I've had a lot of success in poker, I'm still trying to improve and I'm still trying to get better because the game's always evolving. And, if I'm working out my game, then I know everybody else obviously needs to be or should be. And I know, like, even Ape Styles, I know he works on this game. He works, he goes into the lab and does study. And so we're all trying to get better. And, one day we'll maybe all have it figured out. Who knows?
Maybe the robots will get us first. Who knows? John does a lot of work with studying. Yeah, he was on my podcast a few weeks back. Love that guy. He's great. He at the end of his streams too, he'll even if he has really interesting spots, he'll go pull up some different tools that he uses and promotes on stream, and we'll just be like, this is what I do after a session anyways. And he just goes through the spots with everybody on stream. So it's poker's one of those things where you have to constantly be evolving and learning everything, because none of us know everything, not even the best of the best.
Well, I kind of know everything, but I just let people coach me anyways. It's fun. It's funny because, the first tournament I ever played, I got first in. It was the main event of the World Series. Mm-hmm. And the second tournament I ever played was a WPT, and I got second, and I took a bad beat to get second. So for a long time, I really did feel like I kind of knew everything. I felt like, this game's easy. I got this game figured out. So I would say for almost 7, 8, 9 years, I never studied the game once. And if there's anything I could go back and change and alter, that would be it, obviously. I missed a lot. But you got to realize, too, even though I wasn't studying, I wasn't working on the game, I was so much better than everybody else at the time because everybody sucked. If you couldn't make poker back in from 2003 to 2010, you were never going to make money. It was the literal easiest time in the world to make money in poker. So I was making a lot of money, so I didn't really feel like I need to go study. But then I woke up in 2010, 2011 and realized that I kind of suck and I need to get better. And, I was blaming a lot of my run bad or my not winning tournaments on variance and, bad beats. And, everybody makes up everybody runs bad. Everybody makes up their own excuses, but you got to really look within yourself and see, is it really just bad beats over and over, or is there actually, what are you missing? You're missing something. And more times than not, there is variance in the game, but more times than not, you have a hole in your game that you need to fix.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's what I've noticed. I only started playing poker, I guess, a little bit over a year ago at this point, and so I'm just a total baby to the game. I missed the Moneymaker effect, the whole poker boom, and I still have like some FOMO about that, I guess, or I already missed out, but I'm not afraid of it. I'm just sad that I missed out on it. But
yeah, you missed out. You missed that out. You missed the crypto boom. I mean, you've missed everything.
I didn't miss the crypto. I mean, I kind of missed the crypto boom a little bit, but I got in Bitcoin like a few months ago when it was still below 20K, and then I've been riding the wave up. It just hit 60K, I believe, today, Bitcoin.
I got in about 2,400. So, yeah, it's been a fun ride, but it's that's a whole other topic. But yeah, there'll be other booms. Obviously, there'll be something else come along. I mean, people are pissed when they missed Amazon and missed buying into Google or Microsoft or Apple or whatever Tesla. So there's always something new to FOMO into.
Yeah.
But again, you've just been playing poker for a year and a half. Obviously, you got a lot to learn, but you're starting out right. Listening to Abe Styles. Obviously, you guys today have so much more information readily available to you and learn so much faster. Back when I started, I mean, literally there was like a few books. We had Super System and like I think 2 or 3 other books that were halfway deep. That today would be considered terrible, but for the time they were pretty decent. But there were no teaching sites, there were no coaches. I mean, players didn't want to go on stream because they didn't want to give away, or go on TV because they didn't want to give away their secrets and how they were playing their hands. And anybody learning how to play poker today would go back, and if you watch some of the old coverage, I mean, you just got to laugh at some of the plays that were made and how people played hands, and just how obvious everything was. I mean, anytime you saw a 3-bet back in the day, I mean, it was almost always a premium. Like there was very little 3-bet bluffing and almost no 4-bet bluffing. Like a 4-bet bluff didn't even exist, much less a 5-bet bluff.
Yeah.
So, the game's just evolved so much, and but there is so many more tools now to learn and to figure things out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know. It's like with that caveat of like we can figure things out quickly. Once we get into the game, though, it's difficult because everybody has the same tools. So that's the small trade-off we have, is we learn a lot, but everybody else is learning a lot, and we have that stiff competition. I'm curious too, like how as you've evolved studying, like what kind of things you've implemented into your study, like at doing no study from up to 2010. Now we have so many things out, like PO Solver, everything under the sun. So I'm just curious what your main approach is to studying spots.
My main approach is just reviewing hands, talking with players. I worked with Joe McKeon for a while. Fraz Jock. I try to find people that are better than me, that respect game. This guy Calvin Anderson back in the day helped me out a lot. I try to find people again that I feel like are highly successful at the time, that have the game figured out better than me, and pick their brain more than anything else. I'm more of a learner by discussion and seeing things with my own 2 eyes. Where something like PO Solver or whatever. I mean, I don't know proper GTO. I'll be the first to admit it. I understand GTO. I understand ranges. But I've never been one that I'm going to tie myself down. I need to get better fundamentally on those, but at the same time, I feel like I've got a good grasp of what hands I need to play in what position, and I'm more comfortable playing a little bit different. I don't mind being a little bit different. Everybody can't play GTO. Everybody can't play I mean, I don't mind playing exploitively. And I think that I change a lot while I'm on the table to where when someone tries to adapt to me, I adapt before they do. And that, I think at the end of the day, that's what poker is. You have all these tools, you have all this information, and like you said, everybody has the same information. It's how you apply it, and it's how you adapt. And at the end of the day, going forward with all this information available, the GTO trainers, the solvers, and all this stuff, it really is how you're going to adapt to different people and how you're going to change your game to take advantage of someone that's playing GTO. And people that can't, someone that sits there and studies solvers all day long, while they might not be exploitable or whatever, they're not going to go and they can grind out consistent money, small, whatever, but you're never going to be a great player. You're going to know how to play, unexploitable poker, which is winning poker, but at the end of the day, you're not going to go out and make millions and be great. And I think you have to have both the understanding of GTO, but also the ability to deviate from it, know when to deviate from it, but also be a kind of sick in the head and be willing to do things that don't make a whole lot of sense. And everybody always says there's a very thin line between genius and crazy. And I think as a good poker player, you got to really balance that line very closely.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I what you're saying too is with everybody that's in the lab just studying solvers all the time. I feel like the best players in the world are doing that. But the best players in the world, everybody, like Ike Haxton's, everybody, if you ever watch them on stream playing against people who are pretty much obviously weaker recreationals, especially in their mind, don't study as much as they do, they exploit the living hell out of them. They're just constantly they know what the strategy is, but they also can just tune into some kind of whatever the person's doing wrong, and they can exploit the hell out of it. So it's it's a very important thing to balance. You need to a lot of people, you need to study a lot, but you also just have to understand even playing a different style than GTO, it's just a difference in expected value, right?
Yeah, one thing Ape Style said, because I've always been a guy that no one's ever going to confuse me with being a net. I play a lot of hands. I'm very active, and he was looking at my database. He's like, "How in the hell are you a winning player? This is ridiculous." You play way too many hands. But I've always played really good post flop, and I generally take advantage of people post flop more than pre flop. And but again, it's just I adapt and change. And again, I mean, obviously, I need to tighten up my pre flop ranges, and I know my win rate would go up. But it's just not as much fun, and I make enough money that I don't want to be sitting here and folding for 2 hours. It's not in my nature.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a degen at heart when it comes to that. And honestly, I think it's easier to teach someone like me than to teach a nit. It's hard to teach a nit to bluff, where I've got no problem 3-barreling off with anything and just sort of laughing in your face as I'm doing it. Where other people, their heart's racing and they're going crazy. So, I mean, I know I'm very coachable, but I know, when you don't have that fear of failure, I guess, or being, looking like an idiot, it definitely makes it a lot easier, especially when you get on TV tables. Because, people play on TV tables and they don't want to look like the idiot, which the first time I was with the World Series back in 2003, the only thing is I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to do anything stupid. And, I forgot I had a hand at one point, and it was early on in the day. And, after I did that, I was so super embarrassed. And, so I'm thinking everything's being recorded and everything's being shown to the outside world. I'm not even thinking the fact that they're editing this down to an hour show. So, Johnny Chan actually turns to me. It's like, "Don't worry, kid, that'll never make it on TV unless you win." And sure enough, it probably wouldn't have, but it did. But at the end of the day, yeah, you just gotta not worry about it. But it's tough to do once you get into the lights, or even when you're starting to stream. I mean, I've just recently started streaming, and even though I've got a ton of confidence in my game, I've got a ton of confidence when I make plays. When you're streaming in front of however many people, it can be 5 or it can be 5,000. there's always going to be people in your chat telling you suck or you're doing something wrong, or you have chat pros that know better than you, or they think they do, and they question your play or things like that, and that can get into your head, and that can really affect how you're playing. I mean, I've had people question a play, and I'll try to explain why I did it, and I feel good about it. And then a coach will come back and say, you messed that up, or I did something else wrong. And and again, the coach doesn't know everything. I don't know everything. You can't take what a coach tells you can't take what H-Dust tells you and just call it gospel. I mean, you've got to make it fit into your game, and obviously he knows what he's doing, and he's tailored a game that fits for him. But I can promise you can learn everything Abe Styles does, and if you don't play like he does, you're not going to be able to be profitable. Like, you can have all of his knowledge, but unless you have his mentality and how he approaches the game, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, mentality is just a huge part. People are talking about it more, but you don't talk about it enough. You have to just have that perfect balance between crazy and genius, right? Just be right there. Yeah, it's one thing that this is gonna go completely off topic now, but I've been thinking about different ways that people play. One thing I'm kind of passionate about is mixed games in poker. Do you have any experience with mixed games? You ever play like getting the stud streets or Omaha, playing all that?
Yeah, I play 8-game a lot. I used to play 8-game a lot. I'm trying to get ACR to put 8-game mix.
Please.
Into, I like playing 8-game more than any other game. It's definitely I play PLO more than I play Hold'em, especially cash. I don't play that much Hold'em, honestly, unless I'm playing tournaments. And that's just the nature of every good tournament's gonna be a no limit tournament. But yeah, I would definitely rather be playing mixed. That's where the future, I hope, is.
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, do you think you're talking to ACR about it? Do you think you're gonna start getting more games on there too, like Deuce to 7, all that kind of draw games as well?
Well, that's part of the 8-game mix. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get all those games on there. That's if you look on ACR right now, the problem that I'm dealing with is I'm in a group that plays a lot of mixed games. We play home games and stuff like that, and they don't play on ACR very often for the simple fact that, like, when you go to the 7 stud tab, I mean, there's just no one playing. It's really hard to get the games off on 7 stud, 7 high low, because we haven't really built out the platform for the mixed game player yet. And it's kind of like you build it and they'll come. We need to get the mixed games going. We need to really focus on getting an 8-game, because, I mean, in my opinion, I think it's hard to just have a standalone 7-card stud or 7-star high-low. I think you need the actual mix. I think PLO stands alone. Omaha high-low stands alone. But you're not going to just come out with and have only a Raz table or only a 7-stud table. I mean, no one wants to sit there and just play 7-stud all day. I don't mind. I like playing it, but I wouldn't want to play it for longer than an hour straight. I mean, that would be kind of brutal. But you put it in a mix, then all of a sudden it's awesome. And so we definitely need to get a mix, and that's one thing I'm pushing for. The pushback I'm getting a little bit is the players aren't signing up for the tournaments that we have now and the cash games that we have now, and it's like, again, build it and the players will come.
Right. I feel like 8-game seems to be like one of the more popular ones when it comes to introducing people to mixed games, because like you said, you're not just sitting there playing study for hours. You can, you get back to Hold'em and PLO and all that stuff, and people are like, okay, this is familiar, and we get to this, and then they start, finding other games that they love. And then those other games just start to become more populated. At least that's kind of what I've found. I obviously, can't really play many mixed games. I'll do some random home games here and there, but I just have so much fun playing them, and I'm hoping that we can get those on ACR soon. Yeah.
Bill, if you're listening, let's do it, buddy. Let's go.
Let's get the mixed games. Shout out to Pieface Poker too. Mixed games king of Twitch. He's
Oh, God. No, not Pieface.
You have beef with Pieface?
What?
Do you have any beef with Pieface?
I don't. No, we used to be 14 pros together at Poker Stars.
Right.
I don't have any beef with him, but I mean, he sets himself up as this mixed game god, and I played mixed games with him. He's not any good. And you can tell him I said that.
You want to rate him after the stream and tell him that he's a mixed games fish?
That he's a mixed games fish, yes. No, I mean, I like the fact that he's out there. You know, we need more people streaming mixed games. And when I was up in New Jersey, I would, you know, when I periodically streamed for Poker Stars, I would stream mixed games. That's all I streamed was 8 game. And the thing is you got to build the audience. You got to build the knowledge base. And, you know, Pieface is trying to do it. The problem is no one ever wants to watch him. So
I know.
It's tough.
It's a shame. It's kind of.
It is a shame, you know. He's a kind of a nice guy, I guess. If he learned how to play poker, he could probably build a good stream.
Yeah, maybe.
I want to record this and send this to.
Oh, don't worry, it's all recorded. Maybe someone in chat can clip it.
Yeah.
And we'll send him a link. But yeah, I won't say anything bad about Pie though. You can go ahead and trash him all you want. Trash him.
I like him. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
He is. We had a lot of fun on our chat where he made fun of American football for not being correct, and then made fun of me for mispronouncing Norwich, or as it's really called, Norwich.
Yeah, I played soccer or football, as they call it, growing up, and I still don't know how to pronounce most of the damn team names or pay any attention to it. So,
do you pay attention to the Premier League?
Not really. I mean, if it's on Saturday morning, I might watch a game or two here or there, but no, I watch real sports.
You just watching football, basketball, all that?
I'm watching the UFC right now as we're talking.
Yeah.
I like the UFC. I like, you know, college football and NBA. Yeah, just mostly sports that I'm going to be able to see on a more regular basis. You know, again, I grew up playing soccer for 18 years, and I love the game. I don't find it as enjoyable watching it. Now, when the World Cup comes on, oh yeah, I'm glued to the TV all summer. But
yeah,
I don't know. I guess I don't have a team in the Premier League or in the Champions League or anything like that, so I don't really pay much attention to it.
Yeah, me neither. I tried to, but just could not get into it. Do you bet on sports as well too?
What, of course. I mean, why not?
I mean, I used to be deep in the sports betting streets, but I had to kind of fade out of it because I was losing so much, and it just was not profitable. I'm a huge hockey guy. I used to play back in the day, but you know, and I started betting on hockey, and of course, when you start out, you start winning a lot. You know, everybody's just keeps on going, and then you eventually just hit that losing streak, and couldn't handle the swings.
It always happens. Yep. I mean, it's a tough game. I mean, it's tough, but like I don't know. I stopped betting for a while, then started getting some sharp stuff, and started being a little bit sharper myself, and I do all right with it now. I don't say I kill it, but I mean, I'm profitable and it makes it fun. So
yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, I'm not looking to make a killing off of it. I just want to, you know, if I'm sitting here watching these two guys fight, I want to be able to bet on it and enjoy it, and I just enjoy it a little bit more with a little wager on it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll throw the occasional bet out on the big games, like whenever I'm really feeling it, like Super Bowl, Bucks money line. I just had to take it. Like it was 2+ EV. How if they're gonna give me like plus odds on Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl, I'm taking that every day of the week. I don't even know how that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't either. Speaking of hockey, I got one hockey bet right now, and it's probably going to lose, so you jinxed me in that one, but whatever.
Maybe. There's always a chance for some puck line Jesus, as they call it.
Well, I got the under, so.
Oh. Uh-oh.
I'm not dead yet. I got under 5.5, and they scored 3 halfway through the second, so.
Yikes. Which game is it?
4 to Dallas.
I don't know. Let's root for the tendies. Hopefully the goaltenders can just keep every single puck out for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you can always root for it, but yeah, it's funny because I remember I placed the bet this morning, and I haven't looked. I've got a few bets out, and I haven't looked at any of them yet to see how I'm doing. Well, that's a dead loser. All right, I'm gonna stop looking at sports now because I've looked at Cleveland I got the Yankees, and they're dead, down 4-0. So
Ugh.
I'm done. I'm done looking at sports now. Thanks
All
for
right.
ruining it.
Oh my god. I'll try my best. We'll stop talking about no more sports.
Since I met you on Twitter a couple days ago, you've brought me nothing but pain. Basically, this guy opens up, say, hey, I had someone drop out on a Saturday, and I need someone to fill in. Do you think you could be available to fill in because my main star didn't make it? So, and then he goes on to say, well, yeah, I've already had all the big names on. I've had Andre Akari and Ape Styles and all these big poker players on. And, since I've had all the good ones on, I guess, can you come on too? So this is how our conversation started. And so you can imagine my joy that I get when I have to come on stream as second fiddle. And after all these lesser known players, but hey, you know what? I'm here. We did it. We're talking sports, and now I'm losing all my sports thanks to you as well. I'm telling you, man, you're not off to a good start here.
I try my best. Here's the honest to God truth. This was kind of just on a huge whim. My last guest that I had planned was Ginge Poker, who streams on Twitch sometimes. He's affiliated, whatever. And he put on Twitter like a week ago. He said, "I'm drunk. Ask me anything." Or, sorry, I'm white girl wasted. Ask me anything. And so I said, come on my podcast. Do you want to? And then he said, sure. So I was like, all right, sweet. And we were planning this out because it was something. And then, he's going into lockdown now or something and couldn't make it. So forget him. He's done. So then I went on Twitter again. I was like, well, shit, who am I going to get to come in? And then I saw you or Ape Styles talking about coming on for a study session. And then I was like, this probably won't work. What if Moneymaker's DMs are open? I looked and they were, and then I was like, maybe we'll just try to give it a shot. And then you responded, and I was like, kind of losing my mind. But then you were also like, yeah, I guess I can come on, but thanks for making me your second choice or whatever. But honestly, I mean,
you covered it really well. I'll give you that. You did cover it.
That's the honest to God story. You can, if everybody else who's my personal close friend who's on my Snapchat would see me talking about how I was kind of losing my mind on Thursday when I DM'd you and you said you'd come on, because I just kind of thought it was I know I've heard you talk before and you seem like you're such a down to earth person, but it just never crossed my mind. I was like, oh, Chris Moneymaker, he's too big. I can't get him on the show. But now it's happening.
I'm trying to lose weight, man. Come on. Seriously, good God. This is ridiculous. I mean, you're doing so good until that last point, and then you just had to go and ruin it.
Oh my God.
Better stop while you're ahead.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should stop while I'm ahead. Even though it doesn't feel like I'm ahead right now. You're just kind of shooting down every single point that I try to make, every single compliment I try to give, and you just bam right in there with the great joke.
I've got a pretty good way of self-deprecating myself, or whatever you want to call it. I'm very good at destroying my own self, which I do to everybody else. So I do it to myself equally as well. And people always, people that take me seriously, you just can't. I don't. My wife will tell you, and it irritates her to no end, that I'm just never a serious person. I have too much fun in life, and
me too.
I don't really care. So.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with David Sedaris. He's one of my favorite humorous authors, and he always says everything you have in life, everything that happens to you, you just have to grit through it and be like, it'll be funny one day. And that's what he says. It's just everything's gonna be funny one day.
Whatever bad's happening, 6 months from now, it won't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll either make you stronger or you'll die. I mean, so either way, it'll be funny.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. I mean, you could look at it, it's a good mentality to have too in poker as well. Just thinking anything bad that could be happening now, 6 months, it's going to be irrelevant. But
yep.
I mean, even the good.
People ask me, who do you fear when you play poker? And I always find that question really funny because, how can you ever fear anybody when you're playing a card game? I mean, yeah, there's people's game I respect, or will play differently. I just play a different style against them, but I actually bluff the people I respect more. So, it's always just funny to me when I get that question: who are you afraid of on the table, or who are you afraid to play with?
Yeah.
Because you're playing cards, for God's sake. I mean, if I'm going into the octagon, yeah, I'm going to be afraid of some people, but it's going to be really hard to scare me on a poker table.
Yeah, even looking back too, like when you were, at the main event for the first time on TV, you're playing against the best of the best, and I mean, I'm sure maybe back then you might have been a little bit more afraid, having Johnny Chan to your left. That one's
I mean, I respected him. I mean, ignorance is bliss. I respected him, but I wasn't afraid of him. Again, it's not like we're throwing punches at each other's faces and we're playing cards. I mean, this is fun. This is supposed to be enjoyable. I mean, why be afraid of somebody when you're having fun?
Right. I'm gonna try to pull up this picture right now. One of my favorite pictures from the main event. When you won it, I don't know if I can find it right now, but it's you heads up versus Sammy Farha, and they just brought the money out, and you two are sitting there. You're on one end, Farha's on the other one with the unlit cigarette in his mouth, and they just put the money on the table, and all the guys are standing at Binion's, and they have the shotguns right behind it. I think that might be one of the most iconic poker moments ever. If
to be able to live in that moment was incredible. I will say that it was pretty phenomenal. Seeing the guys walking out with the money and the shotguns, and basically, yeah, my dad rode home with Sam Farho after it was done.
Really?
And Sam took his 1.3 or 1.1 million, whatever it was, in a cardboard box and took it with him in cash back to the Bellagio. So, I mean, I could have walked out of there with $2.5 million in cash if I wanted to. That was real money they laid on the table. Obviously, why they had the shotguns, but
right.
It didn't seem like they had enough hardware. If someone wanted to rob that place back then, two guys with shotguns doesn't seem like they would have stopped a whole hell of a lot. And if our memory serves, those guys holding those shotguns didn't seem like they were in the best shape either. So,
I wish I could find it. Oh man, it's just so incredibly funny seeing all that. And absolutely iconic as well. Oh well. Maybe I'll find it later. Maybe that'll be the thumbnail for the stream, or for the podcast when it goes up on YouTube, because that's just absolutely amazing. I'm kind of curious. Have you ever run into Sammy Farha after you won? Yeah.
Yeah, we played a couple times. We did a reenactment where we played Heads Up on ESPN again. We did one online, and then we did a couple. We played in a cash game once. We did a charity together once. We did a charity appearance. We did another appearance in New York together one time. And then last time I saw him was down in the Hollywood down in Florida right before COVID happened. At a tournament down there. But yeah, I mean, I've probably run into him 5 or 6 times.
And I'm sure, there's no hard feelings between the two of you anymore. It's been so long. I'm sure there wasn't hard feelings back then either. It's just kind of shock.
I don't have hard feelings, so yeah. I didn't care. But he was kind of butthurt, I guess. People would always goad him around Houston that he lost to me, so he had to hear it all the time, I guess. And we came into the Heads Up match, the rematch. He was real confident and cocky, and when he lost, he wasn't too happy. But we went and did an appearance, and we did a charity event together, and we kind of talked and kind of came to an understanding that we're both kind of degen in our own way, and we get along all right. I mean, I got nothing but love for him, and I think he's finally buried the hatchet. So
yeah.
The only other person that really had a bad vibe for me, or had bad intentions for me, was Phil Ivey from that table. Phil Ivey, after I busted him in 10th, he didn't even walk. He wouldn't look at me for 6 months. And we were on a cruise ship, and I finally walked up to him and was like, "Hey man, are we okay? Do you have a problem?" And he, he's a pretty open, honest guy. He goes, "Yeah, I had a problem. I hated losing to you, but I'm fine now. But it bothered me for a while, I'll be honest." And so, those are the only two that I know of that, kind of took offense to losing to the country hick. But they're better now, I guess.
Now, you're the only other person I think Yeah, you're the only person who I've talked to on this show who lives. Oh no, Veronica Bro is the first one, but you're the only person I've talked to who lives in America too. And the first half of my name in the podcast, it's Bluegrass Poker. I'm huge into bluegrass and country music, and I'm really just morbidly curious what kind of music do you generally listen to? Do you like bluegrass? Do you like country music, all that stuff?
Well, I lived in Nashville for 8 years.
Yeah.
So if you ever live in Nashville, there's, well, maybe not now because everybody's moved to Nashville, but back then, you lived on two sides of the fences. You either loved country music or you hated it. And I was on the hate side. I was never a country music fan. I've always listened to 80s music. I guess I'm freaking wild man now. When he listened to 50s music, I was pissed. But I listened to 80s music, 90s music. And to be honest, I haven't listened to like really listened to music in a long time because now I listen to sports talk and to radio talk, which I sound old as fuck. I get it, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at in my life. I went through a phase where when I stopped listening to music, it turned into Elmo and all the different kid shows because we would I have three kids and everywhere we went we had to put their shows on that would blare all the back. So I stopped listening to music at that point, and then after that I just I couldn't get into today's music as much, and I told myself I would never be my dad. I would never be the old guy and not, I'd always stay hip and know what the kids are listening to, know what my kids are listening to, and I'll be done. I'm my dad. I turned into him.
I guess it's inevitable at some point. All right, one final. What were you gonna say?
That's
okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It's inevitable.
Yeah. So, Dad, if you're watching out there, can't wait to do everything you're doing now. I'm gonna ask you one last question now, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it all up. One question that I generally ask a lot of my guests, depending on their age, and how long they've been in poker.
Age, all right.
Well, it's because I've interviewed Pi, and he's 24, and the question is like 10 years ago, did you think that you'd end up where you are today, and how do you see the next 10 years of your poker career really going forward?
Well, 10 years ago, yeah, I kind of knew where I would be, and I'm pretty much where I thought I would be. Maybe not with the same company, but in the same boat, I guess. And in 10 years, I really anticipate to be doing the same thing. My life is pretty set for what it is. I mean, I've been doing this now for 20 years. I've got a pretty good routine. I love what I do. It's easy. I work, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week sometimes. ACR had me do a couple videos the other day. I was mad because I had to work for an hour. So, I wouldn't change it. I get on, I play a tournament here or there, or I play some PLO, and then I'll, eventually I'll go back. I'm actually going back on the road to Texas for the first time in 2 weeks to play my first live event in a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I don't even know if I can riffle chips anymore. My carpal tunnel is a lot better because I haven't riffled chips in so long. But no, I'm exactly where I thought I would be, obviously without the COVID and everything else. And I'm pretty sure I know where I'll be in 10 years. I've got a pretty good idea. I've got a 10-year plan type thing. My son, who's sitting down here, he will be graduating. He's the last one to graduate in 10 years. So once I kick him out of the house, kick you out of the house, I've got a pretty good idea of what I want to do, and I'm just waiting for him to get out. So. How dare me?
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, I'm really, I'm gonna wish you luck, however I can do that for your upcoming tournament in the next 10 years. I know everybody will be looking forward to it because, like I said, you're still such an inspiration to so many people to this day, for people playing in poker. And I want to say I really appreciate you coming on the show. This has been a great interview, and I guess I'm just really thankful that you were able to make it. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah.
Keep it up, and see you. Hopefully, you'll be the next Moneymaker, and
fingers
you
crossed.
do it a lot more often. Yep.
All right.
Just stop letting Pi ruin your game, and you'll be all right.
I will. Speaking of Pi, we're gonna go ahead and drop a raid off to somebody. You want to drop it off to Pi, or do you want to drop it off to a smaller streamer?
Your choice. We'll figure it out.
We're gonna go ahead and give it to Pred Poker, another small streamer streaming Scoop, the Scoop 1098 game right now. So we'll at least get some mixed games action by hopefully a better player. Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Fine.
Take
All
care.
Right. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. All right. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and head over to Pred to watch him stream some huge tournaments.